How do professional commercial painting contractors avoid risks and protect themselves? That's what this video is about. Everybody wants to get into commercial work. Everybody's aware that there's risk to it. So how do people who know what they're doing in the commercial painting industry actually protect themselves and avoid the big risks that are within commercial painting? So that's what we're gonna get into. We're gonna cover a few different things. The first is the market segment that they serve. There's a number of different types of commercial work that you can be focused on, and there's certain types of commercial work that are high risk, and then there's other types of commercial work that are very low risk. An example of high risk would be bidding on plan sites to GCs for non-negotiated work. That's gonna be a higher risk area or market segment within commercial. Non-negotiated work means it's work that GCs are getting a bid from you so they can submit their bid. They haven't even won the project yet. You don't really know who you're bidding for. They might not be a really professional GC. They might be disorganized. They might bid the project low, and as the painter who comes in last, you're also not getting paid for net 30 or 60 days, sometimes way longer if they're disorganized. There's all kinds of risk issues with bidding on non-negotiated GC work. And then the other side, like very low risk, would be doing commercial repaints for property managers where they've already got all the money in the bank account. They cut checks to you before, during, and after. And it's simple repaint work similar to the houses and jobs you already do. All right, so that would be an example of one way you avoid risk is by what type of work you even choose to do. The second thing we'll look at is screening clients and screening jobs. So there's a lot of work that can go into even bidding a project, and there's a number of questions that you would want to be asking a potential customer and about potential jobs before you even start putting in your time to bid on those projects. For example, you want to make sure that if it's an insurance claim, you want to know what the budget is, and if you're going to be just totally wasting your time. And if your bid comes in over budget, are they going to bridge that gap or just exclude you? So you're not going and sinking 15, 20 hours into a bid that there's no chance you're going to get. Another example would be, why are they calling you and why don't they already have a painter? Most commercial clients do painting work on repeat. Why do they not even have a painter? And are we fishing out for potential issues with them? Or is it because they haven't found anyone reliable or something happened on a project, or what's going on? How do we make sure we're not just being used as a bid? So there's a number of ways that we can screen. These are a few of them that we can screen to make sure that we're not getting ourselves in a high risk situation with a bad client or on a bad job, or simply wasting a lot of our time on a bid that we have no chance of getting or aren't going to want. The next thing we're gonna look at is building a strong scope of work. So imagine that you were just gonna go and start doing commercial painting and you started bidding projects. What would happen over time is you'd start making mistakes. You'd be like, oh, I bid for that, but I didn't realize how long that thing takes. I'm gonna add that in. Oh shoot, I didn't even notice that little metal flashing all around the building, or I didn't even think to ask about it. So I'm gonna put that on my little list. And over time, you would build a really long list of, these are the things I need to think about when I'm bidding, when I'm talking to them, and when I'm building my contracts. That long list we call scope of work. That's your scope of work checklist that would end up being pages long to make sure there's nothing ever missed, because missing one thing on a big commercial job could cost thousands and thousands of dollars. The next thing is gonna be the contract. Once we have a really strong scope of work, we have a really strong contract, the same process that you would go about building a really good contract is the same process you use building a scope of work. Over time, you run into different issues and problems doing large projects like this, like you show up to one and there's no generator or no power. Well, how are you supposed to hook up your sprayer, and how are you supposed to use any equipment that you need to use that needs power? Or you show up and there's no water and you gotta pay to bring in a truck. Or you show up and you find out you can't leave your lift there overnight and you gotta haul it out every single day. There's all these different operational things to consider and things that we need to make sure are included within our contract to protect ourselves when and if anything happens, and it also protects and educates our client to make sure that our working relationship is a really good one, because we don't want to just do this job, we want to do this one and the next 100 that you have to do. So these are a few of the specific examples of the type of systems that need to get put in place, and this is how people who are professionals at doing commercial work do it without it being risky. And that's what we teach you in the Painting Business Pro commercial painting course. It's way more than we would ever be able to fit into a YouTube video, and it's based on 30 years of experience doing commercial projects, operating multi-million-dollar painting companies, and we've got absolutely everything covered in there to help you avoid risks so you can go and capitalize on the amazing benefits with commercial work.